All right, Doug, let's get to something we weren't able to get to just last week. But before we get to Jake Fisher kind of reporting something where the Hornets might be interested in a player, except not necessarily a big man. Also, he puts out somebody in Houston that they might be interested in. It's somebody we haven't talked about. A YouTube poll. I didn't even know that we had a poll out there for YouTube. What is this, and is it good for us?
Yeah, so there is this polling feature on YouTube. I should have had this ready, so let me get it up and running here.
That's fine. I can filibuster if you want to as you try to put this up, because I'm a little afraid of the YouTube poll. I told you a couple times I didn't realize how crazy the YouTube comments were going to be when we got here. And so any kind of poll, I can't imagine, is met with any rationale on part of the viewers. But I'm excited to see it. We can put the crazy numbers out there.
Yeah, so we're just getting started with the polls, so I hope we can make this more part of the show, but I just wanted to throw out sort of a test poll. So real easy question here. Should the Charlotte Hornets make a move before the NBA trade deadline? 127 votes. 88% of you think yes. 12% of you say no. Joseph comments, they must. They need it, most especially if they want to be in the first round of the playoffs. It's a must. Slat saying Terry got to go. Gordon, PJ, and Bumley for some assets. Man, Slat, that's brutal. And the Crazy and Proud says everyone wants this. Boysen says we need a better center. That's
okay. Yeah, I was asked this on the Afternoon Rush yesterday too. Like, do they need to make this trade? And I said, if you want to compete in the first round, you do. You know, that's the bottom line. If you think you can prolong this timeline a little more, then you don't need to, and you can wait towards the offseason. And
I'm with Roderick Boone. I don't know if you saw his latest article in The Observer, but I'm right there. He even used the last line of his article was like, the time is ticking, and I've been saying that over and over. Tick, 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 tick. Like, LaMelo Ball is not going to get any younger, and his prime is approaching, and it might already have started, and it's time now to get him some players that can get this team into championship contention.
All right, so maybe some of those players would be a Myles Turner or Christian Wood or some of the usual suspects that we talk about via the trade. Or maybe it could be Cedi Osman. Doug, is that the guy that you thought might help this Hornets team? Well, Jake Fisher put out there last week, as the trade market seems to have a few two-way wings available, several teams, including San Antonio, Charlotte, Dallas, and Milwaukee, have phoned about a Cedi Osman. What do you make about them swinging for the big fish and going after Cedi?
This is not the first time that the Hornets have been interested in Cedi Osman.
Right. I forgot about that, but that's so right.
So I wonder, part of me wonders if this isn't some information that is being sort of recycled, reused, that if Charlotte is not necessarily contacting about Cedi Osman now, but has contacted the team about him in the past, I would be a little bit suspect about whether, like, right now they think Cedi Osman is an option, because they are so, I think, heavy at the wing. Maybe Cedi Osman, if they move some wings in order to acquire a big man and they're looking to restock, possibly. But I would be a little bit wary about this rumor.
Yeah, I would too. And this is not to say anything.
If they only listen, I'll tell you one thing: if they only come away with Cedi Osman at the trade deadline,
that's not going to be the big swing you wanted. Yeah, I figured you would. Yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense to me. You know, this is somebody that I feel like when you talk about the wings that they have on this team, I think you would just probably roll with them. And also, you know, this isn't to say that Jake Fisher is completely without any kind of evidence on the Hornets' interest here with Cedi, but we know, I always go back to that Marc Gasol rumor where Hornets, they were right on the line of making that deal to go get Marc Gasol, Mitch Kupchak's first go around, and it was Shams Charania putting that out there constantly, and it was like, you know, and then Mitch Kupchak would speak. He's like, look, I honestly don't know how close we ever really were to making a trade for Marc Gasol. And then you hear some stuff about the Andre Drummond interest, quote unquote. And then it's like, well, you know, from people that I knew that kind of knew about that, it's like, look, Hornets aren't really interested in Andre Drummond. So, you know, when you talk about like this, they may have shown some interest, but it probably was just like a phone call, because Mitch does make frequent phone calls and then he doesn't give you what you want. Like, that's what we've come to see from him as general manager. And it's been a really patient blueprint. Bobby Marks talked about that on the latest Low Post podcast he appeared on. So that's what I kind of think. Here's another player we can get to real quickly.
Okay, give me somebody. Now, hold on. Now, give me somebody good. All right, we did Chetty. Let's get rid of Chetty. I want somebody good here. Give me a good, juicy player rumor that I can sink my teeth into.
Oh, for sure. No, this is going to be the main course, baby. This is going to be an excellent one.
My mouth is watering, saliva accumulating within my jowls.
Okay. Another Houston veteran drawing significant interest of late.
Yes.
Has been center Daniel Tice.
No! No!
Tasty. The high price for Myles Turner has led several teams, including Boston, Charlotte, Milwaukee, and Toronto, to inquire about the Rockets' big man. So how about Daniel Tice, Doug? Is that somebody that you find tasty here in Charlotte?
My mouth is immediately dry.
Yeah,
that immediately dried my mouth. I swallowed all of my saliva.
He was the exact.
That does not excite me at all.
Yeah, he was.
That's a step backwards. That's like, why are these rumors rerunning free agency rumors of yesteryear? I know. I want the future. The future is possibly a cheap Myles Turner or a Sabonis or a Nurkic. That's the future. I don't know. Daniel Tice, Christian Wood is the future. Daniel Tice is the past.
He is the past, but he might be the future. And I said this as the exact example when moving on from Cody Zeller. If they do that and then view Daniel Tice as this big upgrade, that I was going to riot, but instead they just kind of viewed that with Mason Plumlee. That's what they decided to do. So can you imagine going from, Cody Zeller to Mason Plumlee to Daniel Tice as your starting center? I mean, good God. Look, the jokes, they write themselves with that one. I mean, the Hornets, the jokes have already been about them drafting big white guys, and now if they're just going to continue to trade for all of them, I mean, I'm sorry. At sometimes, so look, you're just susceptible to this now because you keep going after them.
I don't care. I want someone that can score effectively at the rim or get fouled. I just want someone, just give me someone who can protect the rim and score at the rim so that the Hornets don't have to be in the basement of rim accuracy year after year after year.
I would agree. We'll see what they decide to do. We'll see if their big fish is Daniel Tice or Chetty Osman. All right.
You are listening to the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Main character for American Psycho was Patrick Bateman, which really confused me. I always thought that Jason Bateman was Patrick Bateman, and that Patrick Bateman was Jason Bateman.
It's time for more of the Locked On Hornets podcast.